Hi my friends, welcome back. This is A Course in Miracles lesson 45. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for being here and thank you for practicing this workbook with me. So we're going to read the lesson and make the first guided practice together. So let's do it. A Course in Miracles lesson 45. God is the mind with which I think. Today's idea holds the key to what your real thoughts are. They are nothing that you think, just as nothing that you think you see is related to vision in any way. There is no relationship between what's real and what you think is real. Nothing that you think are your real thoughts resemble your real thoughts in any respect. Nothing that you think you see bears any resemblance to what vision will show you. You think with the mind of God, therefore you share your thoughts with Him, as He shares His with you. They are the same thoughts, because they are thought by the same mind. To share is to make alike or to make one. Nor do the thoughts you think with the mind of God leave your mind, because thoughts do not leave their source. Therefore, your thoughts are in the mind of God as you are. They are in your mind as well, where He is. As you are part of His mind, so are your thoughts part of His mind. In this first part, I want to highlight here where it says, nor do the thoughts you think with the mind of God leave your mind, because thoughts do not leave their source. Therefore, your thoughts are in the mind of God as you are. And let's continue. Where then are your real thoughts? Today, we will attempt to reach them. We will have to look for them in your mind, because that is where they are. They must still be there, because they cannot have left their source. What is taught by the mind of God is eternal, being part of creation. So today we are looking for our real thoughts, the ones that we thought with the mind of God, and they are there, as it says here, because they cannot leave their source. And what is taught by the mind of God is eternal, which means you are eternal, we are eternal, being part of creation. Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea. We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real. We will deny the world in favor of truth. We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back. We will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what God would have us to do is impossible. Instead, we will try to recognize that only what God would have us to do is possible. So we are doing 3 practices today, almost like yesterday, 5 minutes each. And the idea of the practice today is to leave the unreal, the distortions and illusions, seeking for the real, seeking for the truth. We will not let the beliefs and illusions and distortions be in between us. And here is to recognize that only what God would have us do is possible, which is the will of God. We will also try to understand that only what God have us do is what we want to do. And we will also try to remember that we cannot fail in doing what He would have us do, which is the will of God is my will. And we cannot fail that. That is every reason to feel confident that we will succeed today. It is the will of God. Begin the exercise for today by repeating the idea to yourself, closing your eyes as you do so. God is the mind in which I think, with which I think. Then spend a fairly short period in thinking a few relevant thoughts of your own, keeping the idea in mind. After you have added some 4 or 5 thoughts of your own to the idea, repeat again. So we are starting the practice, repeating the truth of today, which is God is the mind with which I think. Then we are, for a short period, thinking some relevant thoughts related to that. 4 or 5 thoughts are enough. Then we repeat again. God is the mind with which I think. So whatever comes when you say that, God is the mind with which I think. You may say, I am never separated. God is the source of all energy, all love, all wisdom, all light. And whatever is related, whatever arises, relate to that. God is the mind with which I think. And then you tell here, okay, after done that, you say, my real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them. So briefly, you will repeat the truth plus some related thoughts. Repeat the truth again and say, my real thoughts are in my mind and I would like to find them. Then try to go past all the unreal thoughts that cover the truth in your mind and reach to the eternal. Reach to the eternal, not the temporary. Under all the senseless thoughts and mad ideas with which you have cluttered up your mind are the thoughts that you thought with God in the beginning. They are there in your mind now, completely unchanged. They will always be in your mind exactly as they always were. Everything you have thought since then will change, but the foundation with a capital F, on which rests, is wholly changeless. So the thoughts, the real, eternal thoughts that you had with God on the beginning, they are the foundation, which are changeless. And here we repeat again, it is this foundation with capital F toward which the exercise for today are directed. Here is our mind joined with the mind of God. Here are your thoughts one with His. So here the foundation is where the exercises of today are directed, is where our mind is joined with the mind of God. And where it says here on the beginning, the paragraph before, under all the senseless thoughts and mad ideas with which you have cluttered up your mind are the thoughts that you thought with God in the beginning. And they are the foundation which is changeless. Which makes me think on where it says in the beginning, makes me think in the beginning where we were created and before the separation. And the thoughts that were thought with the mind of God in the beginning are the foundation. That's why they are eternal, changeless. So let's continue our stop. Here are thoughts, one of his. For this kind of practice, only one thing is necessary. Approach it as you would an altar dedicated in heaven to God the Father and to God the Son. For such is the place you are trying to reach. You'll probably be unable as yet to realize how high you are trying to go. Yet, even with the little understanding you have already gained, you should be able to remind yourself that this is no idle game, but an exercise in holiness, an attempt to reach the kingdom of heaven. In the short exercise periods for today, try to remember how important it is to you to understand the holiness of the mind that thinks of God, your holiness. Take a minute or two as you repeat the idea throughout the day and appreciate your mind's holiness. Stand aside, however briefly, from all thoughts that are unworthy of Him. Whose host are you? And thank Him for the thoughts He is thinking with you. So how beautiful is that? On the short practice periods, take a minute or two to appreciate your mind's holiness. And another highlight that I'd like to say is stand aside from all thoughts that are unworthy of Him whose host you are. So stand aside, stand up for yourself, for all thoughts that are unworthy of the holiness that you are. And thank Him for the thoughts He is thinking with you. Source. So that's the lesson for today. 3 practice periods, 5 minutes each, plus the short practice periods where you take a minute or two to appreciate your mind holiness. To really think what is worth of your mind, of your time, of your space. And be grateful. So I would like to guide us through a practice, and where it says here for you to think some relevant thoughts. I can guide us briefly to some relevant thoughts, but you can think your own thoughts as well. And then after that, the whole goal of today's idea is to go to the changeless, eternal beginning, foundation thoughts that you have within your mind, within the mind of God. So we are trying to seek for the real, the reality, the truth. That's the goal. God is the mind with which I think. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes. To take a deep breath. To take another deep breath, to relax into the present moment. You can only access source in the present moment. Now we're going to start the practice with, you can repeat slowly, out loud or to yourself. God is the mind with which I think. Take a deep breath. Now whatever comes up when you say that, whatever is related, 4 to 5 thoughts are enough. God is the mind with which I think. The source of reality, of all wisdom, all love and light. God is the mind with which I think. And you complement with what comes up to you. And let's repeat one more time. God is the mind with which I think. And then you repeat now. My real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them. Set the intention to look for your real thoughts. My real thoughts are in my mind and I would like to find them. Now you're going to pass all the unreal thoughts, all the beliefs, distortions and illusions, and go within, deep within. What is something that resonates as truth? Eternal, as the beginning, as the foundation. What is changeless? Is that a feeling? Is there a sensation? Is that a word? Is there a knowing? Is there a deep truth? Let all thoughts of distortions, illusions, and beliefs pass by. We are going directly to the reality, to the real. If all that you can sense right now is a feeling or a sensation or a knowing, that's okay. A knowing can be a remembrance of what is, the foundation. And let's finish with God is the mind with which I think. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope you can Do the other practices by yourself during the day. And I hope you have an amazing day today. Thank you so much for being here. Wishing you all the best.